Yeah, I did it the other day. I cleaned up all this mess here. Vacuum. No. I tried the wheels out, it works pretty good. About the weight, it's smashing down, you know. I don't know how many pounds, but I don't know 200 pounds, so it'll miss. It does raise your count.
Let's turn to page 22, that's all stand. Page 22. And you should do Jesus for the cleansing power. Are you lost in the Are you fully trusting in His graceless heart? Are you washed in His blood of the Lamb? Are you lost in the blood?
I had to drill it.
In the soul of the blood of the Lamb. Are you lost? Are you still
You can adjust it now.
Are you lost in the blood of the Lamb? Verse 2. Are you lost in the blood of the Lamb? Are you lost in the blood of the Lamb? Do you rest each moment in the crucified? Are you lost in the blood of the Lamb? Are you lost in the blood? Jesus, the blood of the Lamb. Are you lost in the blood? Are you lost in the blood of the Lamb? Yes, I am going to sing. And we bless you, there's nothing wonderful for me. Holy God, from the blood of the Lamb. In the soul, in the blood of the Lamb. The darkness of the soul,
There's everyone.
Christians, again, today it's a chance to hear thy word taught and preached to us. We're very grateful for all that you've done for us this past week. Would you please bless now what we do today for your glory and for your honor. In Jesus' name, amen. Dismissed. Dismissed.
You go in a machine.
Turn to page 23. Would you be free from the burden of sin? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Would you worry for that when there's wonderful power in the blood? There's wonderful power in the blood of the Lamb. There's wonderful power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Verse 2. Would you be free from your passion and pride? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. And for the cleansing of Calvary's time, there's wonderful power in the blood. There's wonderful power in the blood of the Lamb. There's wonderful power in the blood.
63.
Would you be served as for Jesus your King? There's wonderful power in the blood. There's wonder-working power in the blood. There's wonder-working power. Precious blood of the Lamb.
Paul says, I like to celebrate power, wonder-working power.
Amen.
Heard David Flippo preach a few weeks ago. He's about the power of God. The power of God is not that. Y'all love those Southerners, amen? I should do. We'll be back with you. We got yesterday, Lawrence, Kansas, Anthony, Kansas. And after preaching the youth rally in Lawrence, so Friday night, and the memorial service, Shelton's son that went there 2 years ago over in Anthony, Kansas. But I did not know Kansas grows turnips. Did y'all know that? They're sure a lot of them where your family lived in this area. Turnips everywhere. I kept seeing this green foliage in the field. Oh, my wife, I've never seen that before. And we got the best of it, so way back, I stopped out in the field and figured out what it was. Hold it up. Sure enough, turnips. I mean, turnips everywhere over there in Parker and Anthony, Kansas. I'd never seen that before. And so I just thought you'd be interested in that. John, would you please pray and ask God to bless all?
Our gracious Heavenly Father, thank you so much for us to be your house. Thank you for all the blessings and goodness that we don't learn. We don't do them. We're losing them. Just don't. Lord, Lord.
Yes.
Let's pray that you just give the offering, Lord, and provide as you see fit. In Jesus' name,
Thank you very much, Josh. Mark chapter number 5. We'll go there with you, please. Mark chapter number 5. Teaching time now. In a few minutes, will be preaching time. Amen. There's a difference between teaching and preaching. Teaching is boring, preaching is exciting. Amen. To me, anyway. Teaching can be exciting, but I'd rather preach and teach.
Put some wheels on
The Bible says that God chose the foolishness of preaching to save them, not teaching.
Roll around.
Preaching. Even though he did teach, teaching is very important. That's what we do is in the school hour. You take the reins off of me, keep my blinders off, let me run to the pastor.
Yeah, the drills all the time. Yeah, and they get a little friction.
Teenagers.
I think pretty heavy. I think quite long.
Pink shirts.
Yeah.
And then we're good.
It's solid.
There. Mark chapter 5. They came over to the other side of the sea, the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who is dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains. The chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him. But always, night and day, he was in the mountains and tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. When he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him. I read that verse, cutting himself with stones. I think about the young people that cut themselves. A lot of young people are cutting themselves.
I know. Then they get that.
This man had an unclean spirit. Verse number 6. When he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him. Cried with a loud voice and said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God that thou torment me not. Nameless knew who he was. Verse 8. And he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was there nigh to the mountain a great herd of swine feeding. The Israelites were not supposed to have pigs, hogs, swine, or other clean animals in the laws, and the Israelites could not have them. Verse 12, and all the devils besought him, saying, send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. Forthwith Jesus gave them leave. The unclean spirits went out, entered into the swine. The herd ran violently down a steep place to the sea. They were about 2,000. They were choked in the sea. They that fed the swine fled and told it in the city and in the country. They went out to see what it was that was done. They came to Jesus. The gospel should be preached in the city and the country. Amen. Verse 15, they come to Jesus to see him that was possessed of the devil, had the legion, sitting and clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. People get their right mind, they put clothes on. And then the crazy wrong mind, they get naked. This guy is running around naked. Now that he's clothed. Now that he's in Jesus, they can change. And in verse 17, they began to pray him to depart out of their coast. When he was come to the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit Jesus suffered him not, but said to him, go home to thy friends and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and he had compassion on thee. Give a soul winner. Jesus said, go tell them. Go and tell. Matthew 28, 19, 20. In all the world, preach the gospel to every creature in life sense. And this guy's got straightened out now, saved, in his right mind. He has a desire to tell folks about the Lord, and the Lord said, go tell your friends. Verse 20, he departed and began to publish, we see him get to it, in Decapolis, how great things Jesus had done for him. All men did marvel, the Bible says. In our day and age, there are so many people, I suppose millions of them, who are trapped by the strongholds of Satan, of the demonic world. And some mock their existence, who do not know any better. Some mock and make fun of the existence of the devil and his angels. And others are very intrigued by spiritual wickedness in high places. They're very intrigued and fascinated by darkness and occult and the Ouija board and all that kind of stuff. And it's very important for us to understand that there is a real devil. Our text today brings us to a place called Galilea. The Lord had crossed the Sea of Galilee and entered here to minister and preach to the Galileans. Galileans were common people with common jobs. At the time of the Lord's arrival, they were probably doing the normal chores of the day. But when Jesus and his disciples came off the ship, they were not met by these common people. Jesus faced these two men possessed with demons. We will not take time because of the big time. If you go to Matthew's account, it tells us that there are two men. Mark's account records that there was one more prevalent, more demonic than the two. A man who is under the influence of the most demons here. And here, as the Lord deals with this particular individual, it's interesting to see how he deals with him. There are truths about, there is very much such thing as a spiritual warfare. There are some preachers and evangelists that have ministries just dealing with spiritual warfare. I'm not against that. I'm not just all for that either. That's all they should do. But that's what they should do. That's what they're doing. It's in the Bible. And they've given, there are some preachers and evangelists that just preach prophecy. I'm for that because prophecy is in the Bible. But I think there ought to be a balance. And many years ago, I was in my mid-20s, a guy by the name of Moody Adams. I was attending Southern Baptist Church at this time. I did for 7 years. And every year, the pastor had Moody Adams come and preach on prophecy. Because everybody loves to hear about future. Eschatology is a big fancy word for what's called eschatology. Eschatology means future events. And prophecy, because of the prophecy, you might come to the church. The church will be crowded with that about prophecy, about the future. Isn't it a shame? The same people that hear about prophecy in the future will not come to the church to hear just the word of God. Other truths of the word of God. How they live towards Christian living. How they love them and be kind and forgive one another. All of the doctrines of the Bible besides the doctrine of eschatology. And of course, that kind of thing, like the spiritual warfare doctrine brings people out. Because it's very interesting to them. I wish all the God would come listen to us. And so the Bible says there met him out the tombs of a man with an unclean spirit. This man was, I believe, Satan's prized exhibit. A man under the influence of a legion, many demons. We do not know how he got into this condition. Maybe he was fooling around with a cult. Maybe he was fooling around with drugs, alcohol, maybe immorality. The Bible doesn't say how he became influenced by demons, but he was influenced with demons. Very clear, he's fully possessed, controlled by a power far greater than himself. Now, how do we know when there's a presence of oppression that is stopping a person from living for the Lord, revealing factors in their lives? Well, I mean, one way, there is an interest in death. Very much of an interest in death. This man had a fascination with death. He lived with dead people. He lived among the tombs, sleeping among the bones, the dust, the people that had departed and died. Where this man chose to spend his time reflected the nature of his heart. He did not choose to spend his time with the living, he chose to spend his time with the dead people. This man himself was spiritually dead, with no spiritual interest. And under the control of the devil, he chose to live in an unclean place. Anybody under the control of demons will naturally move toward more filth, more depravity, more unhuman or inhumane behavior. This is not a new idea. It's found throughout the Bible, throughout history. The Bible speaks about it in Isaiah chapter 65. You can write that down up there later, you may. Isaiah 65, verse 1, the Bible says, I am sought of them that ask not for me. This is God speaking. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me, to a nation that was not called by my name. I have spread out my hands all the day to a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good after their own thoughts. The people that provoketh me to anger, God says, continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick, which remain among the graves, and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh, broth of abominable things in their vessels. Isaiah 65, verse 1 through 4. During the Old Testament days, people would go to the gardens of Baal to burn incense and to worship, of course, pagan deities in their graveyards, even. God sent Isaiah to tell the Israelites, come out from among them. I want you to be part of that. So many people today expose themselves to this kind of darkness, and even through the video games. And I think most of us understand that. Video games are not what video games used to be, though at my age I was never involved in video games. But they have got more demonic, more hellish, more wicked by far than they used to be. And they're getting worse all the time. The youth pastor in Seattle, Washington, was interviewed after the 9/11 attacks upon our country about how teenagers were impacted by the terrorist attacks. This shocked youth pastor said, the guy interviewed him, that high school students he spoke to were hardly moved by the tragedy. Many of these teenagers told him that they had seen better graphics in video games than they had seen on television that day as the planes crashed over the Twin Towers. So sad. They become desensitized to real people dying because of what they were exposed to through the video game industry. I haven't seen just a few, very few, probably 4 or 5 I looked at, never watched it in length at the wall, but there's some very disturbing, graphic pictures on video games. I'm sure I have seen the most recent ones. I'm not sure I got this right. Now you understand this. What goes in the eye gate and the ear gate comes from my feet. It doesn't just stay in there. It comes out. And I think, personally, one of the problems with our country, all horrific murders, things that's going on in people's lives. In Mississippi, a couple years ago, not too far from our pastor down there, some people caught a young teenage girl, she was 17, 18, and got out of her car. She was in with a bad crowd anyway, and they poured gasoline down her throat. What a match. She burned her up alive. Those are really horrific crimes. The other crimes you can think of, those aren't normal crimes. Those aren't normal crimes that just lost people commit. Those are crimes that lost people commit that are controlled by demons, I believe. That's what I believe. And our country has such an interest in this type of thing. This particular man was comfortable with the abnormal, more comfortable with the abnormal than the normal. He was more comfortable living in the cemetery among the dead people. He was a man who was rejected by his family, his friends, the community. His behavior and his demon possession caused him to be this way. He was a man with interest in death. Look at verse number 3, Mark chapter 5. Who is dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no not the chains. Why? He's so strong. Because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, the chains had been plucked asunder by him. Like a person on a powerful drug. I've heard, matter of fact, a friend of mine, number Shabana, he was years back, he was telling me, he said, brother, Jim, he said, it's amazing. He said, I experienced it. It was in the tribal people there. So people were getting saved. And as one particular man was getting baptized, he says, it's amazing how the demonic spirits come out of him, how he's acting. And he was so strong, folks trying to baptize him, they couldn't hold him. And so it's a very, very real world. And this guy has superhuman kind of power. It's completely under the control of demonic oppression. That's what it is, oppression. When you allow sin to have dominion in our lives, there's some service to that sin. Romans chapter 6, the whole chapter. It's very clear on there. And sin will always bring us much farther than we intend to go. Here, this man, the Bible says, always night and day, was in the mountains, crying and putting himself to the stones. He ran around at night screaming, cutting himself with stones. I'm sure people trying to sleep at night. There's that nut out there again. There's that idiot. Him over there, him up in the mountains, screaming like a mountain lion. Him up there running around and screaming. And as our world moves away from the presence and the power of God, there will be more abusive, destructive behavior like the behavior of this man. I read the illustration where it said America is currently moving away from God and closer toward paganism at an alarming rate. A study in 2008 found that 36% of adults between the ages of 18 and 25 had tattoos. The same study showed that about half of those in this age group had done at least one of the following. They had gotten a tattoo, or dyed their hair with an untraditional color, or had gotten body piercing in places other than their earlobes. The tattoo is not placed into the body without the cutting of skin. We began to study what is happening in our society. Things that were once considered pagan are now becoming prevalent in our America. We're seeing more people cutting themselves to make a statement. I said earlier at the beginning, so many of our young people are cutting themselves to try to get attention to make statements. The trend of self-mutilation did not originate in the midst of God's people with God. It originated with pagan practices. It did not come from God. It did not come from godly people. Throughout the Old Testament, self-mutilation was a pagan practice. Remember when Elijah was fully fired out from heaven, And remember when he gave, first of all, the 850 prophets Jezebel the chance to do it, and they couldn't do it. The Bible says they began to come. Why? Paganism. Why? They had pagan gods, they had false gods, and the god of Baal and Ashtaroth. It always goes with that kind of practice, never with God and godliness. Once someone is under demonic influence, it's not just a tattoo of piercing. It's not just an immoral relationship with you. Sin always has consequences. I was preaching a youth conference Friday night. I took a big suitcase and I put 6 suitcases, little pouches inside that big suitcase. And one big suitcase, I called 5 men up to the front. I said, open that big suitcase up. I talked about when David committed adultery with Bathsheba. All he saw was adultery with Bathsheba. But I had the young man open the suitcase up, and they took out another suitcase, and I couldn't see it because it's that big suitcase. Then I had to unzip that suitcase and take out another suitcase and could not be seen because it was inside that suitcase. Then I had to unzip that suitcase and take out another load, another pouch type thing, could not be seen because it was that suitcase. And we went through that about 5 or 6 times. I had a note in each one of the pouches of suitcases. One note said, baby out of wedlock. The whole sermon was about sex outside of marriage. The whole sermon was immorality. Because our church kids are heavily involved in sex. Our good fundamental church. We go to church all the time. We're bus routes, children's church, sing the choir. This thing about sex and immorality is running rampant. It's going to church. So I preached the whole sermon on immorality. And one of the suitcases, I said, you can't see it, but there's a baby. You can't see it. One said shame and grace. One said deceit. One said God's second best. And I forgot what the two said now. But when David committed adultery with Bathsheba, he did not see his baby die. He did not see his son raped his daughter. He did not see Absalom as revolted against his father take the kingdom. There were things hidden inside that sin of adultery. David did not see that. Just like there were things hidden inside the people, young people, especially in the immorality. The years will come, the suitcases will be unzipped, and we will see what's going on. There may be things in your life that come up that fall into attack. And so, as we think about, and some people are so engrossed in, I personally, that's what people think of sodomites and lesbians, because you got to trust that new now. If you know anything about the sex, let's just go with some of the same sex and see what we can find out. It's a horrible thing. Sin always has consequences. There are so many cases of sexually transmitted diseases every year. So many cases. Hepatitis C, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, running rampant. Those things go into years. Diseases.
Around
Boy,
the
there's
this.
a
They got a museum in there.
gosh, thanks. That was an intense. I said, yeah, because the subject was, he said, I've never heard of it. A whole sermon on immorality. It was David.
spooked.
You know what's needed.
Riding 100 mile an hour.
Teenagers
Definitely
know what's going on. You better be careful. Those things are controlled by the Holy Spirit. And your hormones begin to grow. Your hormones begin to come out of the can, so to speak. You better have a plan. Many have to live with tattoos and piercings which they never got. How many of us know preachers? I know some, you know some. I only wear long sleeve shirts. I don't wear long sleeve shirts. I'm not much. I wear long sleeve shirts. I wear casual shirts. But how many preachers wear long sleeve shirts because of tattoos?
It's worth it all.
Tattoos nowadays. I know a young man now who's traveling around the country, very young, about 28, preaching to young people
You already paid more for
about
this.
tattoos.
Oh, I paid him the first part. Now he's working on the brain.
Prior to this particular band, verse number 15.
He ain't got the tank on him.
The Bible says they come to Jesus to see him that was possessed with the devil, and believed he was sitting and clothed in his right mind. They were afraid. Prior to this man's meeting Jesus, he was a naked man running around the countryside. This type of behavior, since the Garden of Eden, has been viewed as shameful. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 15. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. This is written to all the folks that sell liquor, sell wine, sell beer to people. Woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink. So the concept of elevating nakedness is displeasing to God. A person is under demonic influence does not view nakedness as a problem at all. This man, who had been trapped by the presence of demonic influence, was about to see the deliverance. Nakedness abounds on television, commercials, abounds everywhere you look. People, in order to get attention, entertain people, it seems like they have to get naked or almost naked to do that. Well, this guy here, he didn't have a problem with it. You know, there's no shame anymore, it seems like. I mean, I don't want people to see my feet. So my wife, I go to the hospital, I love that you make sure people come visit me and make sure my feet are covered. I don't want nobody to see my feet. Especially my legs. No, there are had some legs. I don't want to see parts of my body I'm supposed to see. You're supposed to see my mouth, my head, my hands, arms, and so forth. But people have no shame anymore with nakedness, have no shame with their bodies all. They better have no shame anymore. The Bible talks about people getting blush. It's a good thing if you can blush. Good thing if you get embarrassed. Not a bad thing, even though we always hate to get embarrassed and blush. I don't know where it's all going to end. I just know, even in that Christian circle, we have a problem. It's more difficult even to run Christian colleges than it used to be 20 years ago. Because of all the processes in place, people's ears, eyes, what they say. It's a shame. It's interesting how all this took place. The Bible says, verse number 6, when we saw Jesus afar off, we ran and worshipped him. Now, this particular verse tells me that the demons sing the Lord and worship him. The word for worship in verse 6 means they bowed down to him. It was basically an Eastern way of acknowledging his presence. It does not indicate that the demons repented of their sins, of course, nor that they were returning to trust in Christ. In fact, verse 7 indicates the opposite. They said, "What have I to do with thee, Jesus, the Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God that thou true me not." So the devils believe in God. The Bible says, in James, the Bible says there, the devils believe in God and they tremble. And look at verse 12. The Bible says in our passage, "For he said to them, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit." And so he was delivered by the word of God. We need to always remember, you and I do, that God's word is our defense. Jesus was tempted by the devil as he went through the wilderness. All 3 times he was tempted. The Bible says, he said, "It is written. It is written. It is written." All 3 times he came with him with the word of God. A Christian cannot do better than the word of God in any area of his life. We must have the word of God. We're not strong enough apart from God. We're not strong enough apart from the Holy Ghost. We're not strong enough to encounter the world, flesh, and the devil. We are not strong. Well, preacher, I know all the Bible. I've got all memorized. I've been in church for 55 years. It doesn't matter. You still got flesh in you. As long as you got flesh in you, you have a problem. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has flesh. The best Christians, the best of men are just men. The best Christian has still got flesh upon him. The word of God is there for us to run to all the time. He's our refuge, our resource. He's our everything. The Lord's very mission in coming to the earth was to deliver mankind from sin. Luke 19:10, the Bible says, "The Son of Man has come to seek and save that which was lost." Son of Man. That's the very reason he came. He's come to seek and save that which was lost. Jesus Christ saw my bondage of sin, saw your bondage of sin. He came to make a way for us to have freedom from that. That's why he came. So this morning, if you have spiritual struggles in your life, spiritual strongholds, Ephesians talks about that. Chapter 6. There's one way to deliverance, and only one way. That's the Lord Jesus Christ. We must obey him. You know, our problem is I'm afraid that we hear so much of the Word of God, but we just goes over. Holy Spirit says, that's for you. We say, no, that's for the guy back behind me. God says, I want to get your attention. We don't even realize it. The Word of God, Ephesians 4:12 says, it's quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. The Word of God is so powerful. The problem is not the Word of God is not powerful. The problem is we are not allowing the Word of God that is powerful. Have the effect of our lives. That's the problem. It's powerful, but only as we yield to it. I ask you a question, does God save anybody? Your answer is yes. But he will save no one until they yield to him. Though he can, he will not. Though he can, he will not. It takes the person to yield to the Word of God and the Holy Spirit to receive the Lord as Christ. Now, they don't do that. That blocks the power. The Word of God. And for me, as a saved person, for you as a saved person, if I don't allow the Word of God to have its right force in my life, as I hear it preached, as I read it, as I hear it taught, then I take its power away, so to speak. It's powerful, but it's not powerful to me. It's powerful, but it's not powerful to me. It's only powerful to me as I allow it to be. It's only as powerful to me as I allow it to be. As I allow it to have its way and spirit in my heart and mind. And so, as we allow the Lord to speak to our hearts, we can realize that there is a deliverance from all sin, deliverance from hatred, deliverance from unkindness, deliverance from alcohol, deliverance from adultery, deliverance from bitterness in your heart, deliverance from not obeying the Holy Spirit, all kinds of deliverance. The Bible says that therefore if any man be in Christ, is a new creature. Behold, all things have passed away, behold, all things become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. God makes us new creatures. This man who was once trapped and chained to demonic control was changed to the power of Jesus Christ. At the funeral service yesterday, we had some people there that the family that I was shared, I was told by a family member that was lost. And I shared with them, it's not the Baptist church, it's not the Catholic church, it's not the Methodist church, it's not the Pentecostal church, it's Jesus. The only reason Baptists supposed to go to heaven is because they trust Christ as a Savior, if they have. There'll be some Baptists in hell, like there'll be some Catholics in hell, like there'll be some Pentecostals in hell, have denominational name tags, but never took time to trust Jesus Christ. So the preacher, what's the big deal? Why are we Baptists? The reason we're Baptists is this. The reason we're Baptists is because we believe the Baptist church preaches the Bible closer to what it says than any other church. That's why we're Baptists. That's why we're Baptists. And we have a Pentecostal church, and see why they're Pentecostal. This day they start speaking in tongues. They believe, the Pentecostals believe, that in order to be saved, you must have the evidence of speaking in tongues. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Because the Church of Christ is the Church of Christ, and because they say you must be baptized in their baptistry at their church. You cannot get saved, so to speak, saved at the Church of Christ and go to the Baptist church to get baptized. That doesn't work. They say you have to be baptized in one of our churches in order to go to heaven. That's their doctrine. And if I believe that, I walk around all the time with the baptism on my back. They got to be baptized all the time. No sin. Nobody's perfect. Every time you sin, you lose your salvation. If you believe that, how ridiculous if somebody believes that you lose your salvation. That means many times a day that gets saved again, because you lose it many times a day. And by the way, if you lose your salvation many times you get saved, many times it means that Jesus Christ went to the cross many times and died over again to get saved again. The Bible says in Hebrews he died once. Once for all. I can see if I can. I think that's how people can understand that. It's so clear. Here's a man who had been running and screaming for years. without finding satisfaction. He was nuts, he was crazy, he was insane. Through the power of Christ, he became sane, became serene, became calm. Jesus saved this fellow. Jesus Christ did not begin by clothing the man. He began with the heart, the inward. The peace in his heart couldn't help showing up in his outward behavior. He acted different outwardly because there's something changed inwardly. The reason people want to dress right and talk right and look right and act right and go to the right places and say right things, the reason they want to do those right things is because it's on the outside, it's because something happened on the inside. And the inside wants to come out. The reason people do bad things is because on the inside they won't do that. So it shows up in the members of their body. A person does right things is because on the inside they've been changed. Like in Romans 5:17. And that which is on the inside will show up on the outside. I mean, I think everybody would agree with that. Most people would agree with that. So how do you get around that? So you go to the heart. All begins in the heart. The Bible says this man was clothed in his right mind. And this man found Jesus Christ, his behavior changed. Jesus Christ will change and affect anybody's life. The first time this man had a sound mind, which only comes from the Lord Jesus Christ. This man had difficulty expressing love, was a social outcast, considered very dysfunctional by society. He was a nut, he was crazy. Now he was able to think clearly and have a normal conversation with people. Why? Because he was changed inside. I am not against medications. Don't think I'm making a statement I'm against people getting medication. I'm not. I think some people are on medication that should not be on medication. I don't think some people need medication. I think the doctors are pumping it into their body because they're a lot of money for they're pumping in their body. Medical field does. I'm not against medication. I'm not against medicine. Sometimes I do wonder, especially with some people. I have a good friend that is bipolar. And he had a car, he lived 60 miles an hour, he was staying on the road, trying to get some shit cat on the road. This cat ran out there, got killed on the road, and 8 o'clock Saturday morning, he went out there with a shovel to get him up. And the car came out there 60, 80, 100 miles an hour. And he was in the hospital for a long time. He's a changed man, of course. He has all kinds of problems. But sometimes I wonder about our people that are educated, not educated, that's not the right word, so many people are born that way. But people that have some mental problems, sometimes I wonder what the medications are. I wonder about affecting that in a person. Now, I understand some of it need to. I'm saying I think a lot of times people pump medication and just walking funds. I wonder sometimes if we could kind of just ease them off of some of that stuff. Listen to the Lord's job. I understand not all cases. But I do wonder sometimes about these medications out there. In the way of God. The Bible talks about the word of God to be medicine. Medicine. I know people need medicine. Some may come a day when I need medicine. I may get off of my carrot juice, off my elderberry juice, off my gold and silver, off my take naturally. I may have to have a hospital right now. No. I'm not against medication. I'm just saying, I think sometimes it's not helpful. So this man has a changed life now. Now he becomes to go tell people about the Lord Jesus Christ himself. His right mind, clothed, and now he's going to tell people about Jesus. This is what happened to him. This is what happened to him. Well, is dedication too hard, preacher? I don't think so. With the Lord, the Bible says in Luke 1:37, nothing is impossible with God. You can figure out what that nothing means. Nothing is impossible with God. We have to play in God's will. But this first John talks about choosing. All right, Father, thank you for looking today. We're sure grateful that you give us so much.